Welcome back. This is the 49th segment in our series, Because It's True, making the case for Christianity in bite-sized pieces. Now, when we begin to address the existential question of someone's identity, of course, what we have to admit right up front is that everybody has an identity. Everybody has a sense of who they are and their worth. But what everybody needs is a sense of self, and especially an understanding of their worth that is able to stand up and handle the ups and downs of their performance, that's able to keep them stable in the midst of their failures as well as their successes. Now, there are actually two main ways that a person establishes their identity. The first we could refer to as the outside in. A person goes outside themselves to their family, their friends, their community at large. And they find out what the standards are, what the expectations and the protocols are. And then they bring that information in and realign their lives, realign their feelings to the assertions of those truths that they have found out there. And then their sense of self-worth is largely bestowed upon them by their family members, their friends, their neighbors, the community at large. They are either honored or perhaps dishonored in some way or another, repeatedly over the course of life. Now, the second approach is just the opposite, and that can be referred to as the inside out. A person goes inside themselves, and it's in there that they find out who they want to be and what's right and what's wrong for them. And then they go outside to their family, their friends, their neighbors, their community, and demand that everybody align themselves and accommodate themselves to what this individual has discovered, their identity, because they are the only ones who can decide who they are and what's right and what's wrong for them. These two approaches perhaps has best been illustrated in recent years in the animated film Frozen and its trademark song, Let It Go. Elsa, you may remember, sings, indicating the outside-in approach of establishing and dealing with your identity. She sings, "Don't let them in. Don't let them see. Be the good girl you always have to be. Conceal, don't feel, don't let them know." The pressure from the outside to be and live up to those expectations. Now, of course, it's presented in the nastiest, most repressive and reductionistic way possible, but there you have it. But then there's this dramatic shift, you may remember if you've seen the film, and her hair gets very attractive. And she begins to sing, "I've got to see what I can do. Test the limits and break through. No right, no wrong, no rules for me. I'm free." Those are the two approaches. Now, the problem with both of these is that with each one of them, a person's sense of self, and especially their sense of their worth, is rooted in and based upon their performance. With the outside in, it's the performance that you present to those around you. Now, at the very least, the danger here is that it hinders an individual from becoming all that they were created to be. And it can become very prescribed and highly prescribed and suffocating and sometimes exploitative. The second, though, the inside out, there's a fragility there because you're constantly needing affirmation, because we do live in relationships and we live in community with each other. Plus, there are the internal conflicts that an individual has about who they understand they actually want to be. Now, you take these two, and on the whole, both are trying for an individual to have them existentially justify and affirm themselves according to performance. And that creates a great deal of pressure. In radical contrast to that is what the Christian faith offers. Christianity gives you the only identity that is received and not achieved. You see, God tells you who you are. He becomes your validator. He heaps his love upon you. He knows you intimately, while at the same time loving you immeasurably and valuing you immeasurably. He loves you with a love that never diminishes. You can't do anything that will make him love you more. You can't do anything that will make him love you less. His value that he has for you, the value that he bestows upon you, never diminishes. In his eyes, you are of immense, precious value. And in all of the universe, his eyes are the only ones that count.